Alright, so Negotiable Instruments Act 1881, as I have told you that this in Negotiable Instruments Act we are talking about basically three negotiable instruments. One is our promissory note, one is our bill of exchange, and the other one is check. Okay, the entire chapter is based on these three negotiable instruments. So negotiable instruments and its parties, if you see the index of the chapter given in your module, the alterations, crossing and bouncing of checks. We will be doing checks, completely about the checks today. Dishonor of the checks, what are the remedies given by the law. Okay, so these are certain, outline or certain index which is given. However, there is lot in detail in Negotiable Instruments Act. We will be going through the entire concept related to check today. Okay, the types of crossing, which are the parties involved, the definition, everything regarding check. We will complete the banker's liability. Okay, what is a collecting bank, what is a paying bank, everything related to check we will complete it today, and then I'll take you through the notes. Okay, so coming to a check is nothing but, say, if I just put it in this format, okay, we all have seen a check. It will consist the date, okay, the person to whom you are making the payment, the amount in words and the amount in numbers, okay, the account number and then all the IFSI code and all that, the branch in which, and the signature. Okay, so this is again a promissory note. This is again a negotiable instrument which is freely transferable. That is what is the definition of a negotiable instrument. Transferable. I can put the name of the person and transfer it, that person, pay to that particular person, and the person can put it in his bank and the amount will get debited from my account and credited in his account. Okay, so say if there was a bill, okay, in name of Mr. A, he had to pay Mr. B a sum of rupees 50,000. Okay, so Mr. B had to collect 50,000, Mr. A had to pay 50,000. Okay, so what did Mr. A do? He drew a check in name of Mr. B, pay Mr. B, okay, an amount of rupees 50,000. Amount of rupees 50,000. So this becomes a check. He drew a check. The payment is not made in cash and it is made by way of check. This particular check can also be endorsed in someone else's name. It can again be transferred. So Mr. B, say suppose, even he can transfer it, that pay on the face of it or behind it, pay Mr. C, and here Mr. B will sign. Okay, so like how a bill of exchange, we have seen that bill of exchange can be endorsed from one party to another. Even a check can be endorsed from one party to another. In most of the cases, you will see the parties that the endorsement, we do not have to do. So we will keep the name here blank. Okay, we will cross the check and we will write the amount and we will give it. Okay, why so? So that later on, whoever name, they have to put in here, they can put it. So, okay, the endorsement is not required. Okay. Now, what is a definition basically? Beginning with the definition of a check. Okay, in law, they say check is nothing but it is a bill of exchange. Okay, which is drawn on a specified bank. Specified banker or a bank. Okay, payable on demand. Yes, check is always payable on demand. Payable on demand, and it also includes any electronic image of a check. Okay, and of a check of a, you can say, a truncated check. The check is which is in transit, and check in electronic form also. Okay, so it is nothing but, again, definition of a check is nothing but it is a bill of exchange. Here the party on whom the check is being drawn upon is a specified banker only, and a check is always payable on demand. Okay, whenever I receive a check, say I received a check from a student, okay, I will go to my bank and I'll deposit the check in my bank. It is payable on demand. Okay, so even in case you are having a post dated check, you are supposed to go and put it in the bank at that point of time. On that date it will be made payable. Okay, so it is drawn upon a specified banker. So both check and bill of exchange, they have the same kinds of essentials, etc. So here if I say party to the checks, one is the drawer, okay, person who draws the check, and here the drawee is no one else but the bank. Okay, essentials of a check, if you see essentials, it comes from the check form, which format which I showed you, essentials of a check. Firstly, it should be drawn upon a banker, drawn upon bank. Okay, it is always payable on demand. But in case of bills of exchange, it can be payable after a given point of time, after a particular period. Okay, it can have 3 months period, it can have 4 months period, but the check is always payable on demand. In case of check, you do not require any acceptance of the party. Okay, no acceptance is required. In bill of exchange, the party has to accept the bill, has to sign and accept the bill. There is also no stamp required. No stamp is required, and a given check is valid for 3 months. Okay, valid for 3 months. Okay, so these are the essentials of a check. Okay, now generally whenever we come across a particular check, we see that the check is crossed. Okay, so crossing of a check, now what is crossing? Basically we draw 2 parallel lines. Okay, here we write account payee. Okay, only. Okay, so this is like a crossing of a check. Means what? Okay, if it is an open check, okay, say this was not crossed, it is an open check. A check which is not crossed is a open check. Open check means what? It is paid over the counter, OTC, over the counter. Over the counter itself only you get the payment. Okay, but if it is a crossed check, okay, this crossed check means the payment is done only through the bank. Okay, only through the bank. Well, what does this mean? First, we have something known as general and special. Okay, special crossing and general crossing. Okay, now what is this general crossing which we generally do? Account payee only. Means you have to put this check in the bank, you have to deposit it. Okay, this bank will collect the money and then credit it in your account. Okay, so there will be 2 banks involved over here. One will be a collecting bank, okay, and one will be a paying bank. Okay, so say suppose I have received a check, okay, or say I have drawn a check, I want to pay, I have a creditor, okay, creditor XYZ and company. Okay, he is my creditor, I have to pay him amount of 10,000 rupees. So I draw a check pay XYZ company so and so, the date is written here, okay, an amount of rupees 10,000. Now this check, okay, I go and I give it to XYZ and company. What has he to do? He has to go and deposit it in his bank. Okay, now say I have drawn a check of HDFC. Okay, my bank is HDFC Bank. XYZ and company has an account with ICICI. Correct? He will have to go and deposit this in the bank. So here ICICI Bank will be known as the collecting bank. Why? Because they have to collect the payment on behalf of XYZ, and HDFC Bank will be known as the paying bank. So from my HDFC account, amount will be paid to ICICI. Okay, so collecting bank and paying bank. Okay, the communication which happens with them. Okay, that is known as the the period in which the check gets cleared. That is why it takes 1 day, for a particular check to get cleared, because once it is deposited, it has to be informed to the paying bank. Paying bank again goes ahead that yes, we have to make a payment. They also check from their end, and then the amount is being transferred, and here it is credited, and from my HDFC it is debited. Okay, because the payment has been now made. Okay, so we have a collecting bank and paying bank. So when I cross the check, okay, when I cross the check means what? I cannot go ahead and collect my money over the counter. Okay, I cannot do that. Okay, means XYZ and company can just not go to a bank, go to HDFC and tell them that okay, ये पैसा है मुझे लेना है, I'll take it from the counter. No, I have crossed it means what? He has to go through the bank only. He has to put this check in his bank. His bank will do the needful of crediting the amount. Okay. So a general crossing which we always generally do, we write the name, account payee only. And special crossing is, say suppose I write something like this. Okay. This means what? That the bank can be made payable, the amount can be made payable only through HDFC Bank. Okay, so here if I am writing HDFC Bank, XYZ and company will have to see that they have an account with HDFC, and HDFC also becomes the collecting bank. So if he doesn't have, he'll have to open an account. Okay, so special crossing means what? Where the name is actually written of the bank. Okay, and general crossing is where you just put the parallel lines and don't write anything in that, or you write account payee only, payee's account only. All those are normal general crossing. Okay, so far clear? Any questions you all want to ask? Okay, now I have to explain you one more type of crossing which is known as a not negotiable, when not negotiable words are written with the crossing. Okay, but before that, okay, like what I had done in bills of exchange, I will do with the help of the check also. Okay, or else I'll keep the example of bill of exchange only. Okay, Mr. S, okay, he is the seller of goods, right, and Mr. B, he is the buyer of goods. Correct? He bought the goods on credit. Now what did Mr. S do? He gave goods to Mr. B. But Mr. B had to accept one bill and give it to Mr. S. So one copy is with him and one copy is with him. Okay. So now when the time will come, okay, say this on this bill of exchange, they have 3 months time. Okay, Mr. B has 3 months time to make the payment. Okay, after 3 months, Mr. S will go and he will produce this bill back. Okay, present the bill for payment. Okay. First it was presented for acceptance, present for acceptance. इसका मतलब क्या है कि B is accepting that yes, he took goods on credit and this bill he is going to pay after 3 months. Okay. Now when this 3 months time has come, okay, when the payment time has come, Mr. S will again go to Mr. B and now tell him that yes, I am presenting you this bill, you have to make the payment. And Mr. B will say, okay, fine, I am giving you a check and making a payment through check. Okay, the work is done. Over 3 months के time के बाद पैसा मिल गया. The entire account is settled. Okay, now say suppose the same thing. Now Mr. S had endorsed this bill to Mr. A. Okay, then Mr. A had endorsed it to Mr. C. So basically now C had to go and present the bill for the payment and he will make a check and he will give it. Okay, now say B had made a check for C. He gave the check to C. Okay, he did not write any name. C said do not write any name because even I have another creditor, Mr. D. तो शायद मुझे उसको पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा, तो आप कुछ भी नाम मत लिखो चेक पे, ठीक है. अमाउंट लिखो, साइन करो, क्रॉस कर दो एंड गिव इट टू मी. तो मिस्टर बी सेज फेयर इनफ, आई एम गिविंग यू माई चेक, आई विल क्रॉस द चेक, ओके, एंड आई विल राइट द अमाउंट एंड आई विल साइन. Whomever you want to pay, you can just put his amount, okay, his name. Now Mr. C left it in his drawer. Okay, he left it in his cupboard in the office. Now from there the check was stolen. Okay, a peon or somebody stole the check. Okay, the check was stolen. After stealing the check, what that fellow do is he went ahead, okay, and he paid money to Mr. F. Okay, उसका नाम लेके he paid the money to Mr. F. Now Mr. F over here is the holder in due course. Okay, the actual holder, अपने लिए actual holder था Mr. C, उसके पास था. इसने तो चुरा लिया. Okay, he just stole it and he has who stole it, say Mr. E. Mr. E stole it and he has now written the name of Mr. F. वो उसका कोई creditor रहेगा तो उसको पैसा दे दिया. तो Mr. F has now become the holder in due course. Correct. The holder in due course, he enjoys the title. Okay, he enjoys the title of this check. He has got the correct title. He does not have any kind of defect in the title. Why? Because he took it in good faith. Though the person who gave the check has no title. Has no title to this particular instrument. Okay, he has stolen the check. He does not have a good title to this particular check. But when it was given to the holder in due course, Mr. F, he has got a good title despite of being a stole check. Okay, because he will not come to know. He has taken the check in good faith for a particular consideration. Okay, so Mr. F being a holder in due course enjoys this particular relief. Okay, he can sue. If Mr. F, if the payment gets bounced, okay, he can then sue. जिसने भी sign करके दिया है, okay, he can sue that particular person. भाई क्यों ऐसे हुआ? Okay, or he can go and demand from B, right? But say suppose Mr. B gave the check, okay, and he crossed it, and on that he wrote not negotiable. Okay, not negotiable does not mean that he cannot transfer. ओके, सी ट्रांसफर कर सकता है डी को. ओके, बाद में डी भी ट्रांसफर कर सकता है. ट्रांसफर में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, एक दूसरे को दे सकते हैं जो भी अपने क्रेडिटर है. वेयर विल द प्रॉब्लम अराइज इज, प्रॉब्लम विल अराइज व्हेन अ चेक से सपोज इज स्टोलन फ्रॉम हियर एंड इट वाज गिवन टू सम अदर पर्सन हियर, ही विल नॉट गेट अ बेटर टाइटल. Not get a better title. You'll get the same title as Mr. E. So when your title is not clear and tomorrow if something goes wrong, if there is a default by the party, check bounce, okay, there was no enough money, you cannot sue anybody because even you have not got a better title. So if you are accepting a check with the words not negotiable, you have to be very careful. Because even you being a holder in due course will not give you any remedy if something goes wrong tomorrow. Okay. So this is one type of a crossing which is important to understand. It is a not negotiable crossing. This crossing can be done with general crossing when a check is crossed generally, or even by special crossing. So in special crossing I am writing HDFC Bank not negotiable. तो तुम ट्रांसफर जिसको करना है करो बस, ओके. बट कल उठ के कुछ चोरी बोरी हो गया, मेरा चेक यहाँ से वहाँ कुछ हो गया, बाद में किसी और के हाथ में लग गया, then I will not be responsible, not negotiable. Okay, it does not give the person, the holder in due course, any better title than it was being taken from the previous person. So if a previous person has a good title, even he will get a good title over it. Otherwise, not. Okay. You all want me to explain it with another example?
No.
You all have understood?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. So this is another concept of check wherein you have crossing general and special. Along with that you can have words not negotiable. Okay, and the concept of holder and holder in due course. Okay, now coming to the banker. Okay, banker. Now generally we talk about the liability of the banker. Now banker is generally liable to all his customers. Liable to his customers. Okay, and also he has to maintain proper records. Maintain proper records and accounts. Okay, accounts of everything, of debit as well as of credit. Okay. He must also honor the payments. Okay, whichever payment I am making, my bank should honor those payments. Okay, but there are cases where the banker may refuse the payment. Okay, otherwise, apart from these cases, okay, I will be discussing, there are certain situations in which the banker will refuse to make the payment on your behalf. Otherwise, they are always under the liability to honor the payment of their customers. Okay, now coming to the first one. Firstly, say suppose you had already informed, okay, the customer had already informed or instructed, okay, to stop the payment. So you have already instructed, so the bank will always follow that instruction and they will not do the payment. Second one, the bank receives, okay, notice of customer's death. Once they have got the notice, then they will dishonor it. Until then they will not know it, then they will honor the payment. Okay, so now they know that obviously customer is there, then who is signing this and giving? Okay, so then they will refuse for the payment. Then the bank receives the notice of customer getting adjudicated insolvent. Alright. Next, banker receives the notice of customer's insanity. That the customer has become insane. Then they will refuse for the payment. Then there is any order of the court, which is known as a garnishee order of court, not to make payments from the customer's account. then the court will have to follow. Next, the holders, the person who is holding the check, the holder's title has a defect, okay, and the bank has come to know there is a defect in the title, there is something wrong, then they will not make the payment. Next, customer's account is closed, bank will never honor the payment. No balance in customer's account, low balance or no balance, low or no balance in customer's account. Next, the check, okay, is post dated, right? Post dated check they will not accept. Next, doubtful about the legality, okay, they have some issues, they feel that there is something ambiguous on the face of the check. Okay, check is ambiguous. Ambiguous means what? There is something not matching. The words written, the amount written in words and in numbers is a little different. The signature is not matching. Okay. Say if the account is a joint account and it is not signed jointly. It is not signed jointly. Okay, where the signature is required, okay, if it is a joint account and both have to sign, then the check has become stale. Check is a stale check. 3 months have already passed, okay, from the date on which the check has been written. And lastly, not presented in correct bank, in correct branch. Okay, now this not presented in correct branch is now no more there. Okay, now any branch you go, you can definitely go ahead and present the check in that branch. Okay, you may have an account open in Andheri branch, okay, but you can go and make the payments from a branch which is there nearby you. So now this problem is not there. Okay, so otherwise it was always that particular branch only you have to go and you have to deposit the check. So all this is now not an issue. Okay, so these are the reasons under circumstances under which where the bank will refuse to make the payment on customer's behalf. Alright. Is that clear? Okay, so from this okay, check. What you all have to understand is study the definition, okay, the parties. It's essential. Okay. Then what is the difference between bill of exchange and check? Okay, these are the few questions. These are their favorite questions which they ask. Okay. We also understood the concept of crossing of a check. And lastly, when can a bank refuse payment? Can refuse payment. Okay, so these are the important questions related to the check. Okay, let's move to the notes. Okay, checks. Alright, so check is given under the definition is given under section 6. Okay, entire section 6 talks about check. So this is about the definition, or you can say the meaning of a check. Okay, then the parties involved in the check. This is one note important. Section 31 of RBI Act says that a bill of exchange or a hundi, okay, in initial days traditionally the bill of exchange were known as hundi. They can be made payable to, they can never be no bill of exchange or a hundi, okay, can ever be made payable to a bearer on demand. Okay, so if you are writing a bill of exchange and a hundi, and you want to make it payable to a bearer, then it can never be made payable to a bearer on demand. Okay, it can be after a particular date or something, because generally a bill of exchange, one rule is what, that it has to be accepted by the party who has to make the payment. Okay, so therefore this section is automatically been adhered to. Okay, why? Because there is an acceptance involved, so there is an opposite party. No, how can you make a bill of exchange payable on demand, right? Secondly, no promissory note or a bank draft can be made payable to bearer at all. Okay, so promissory note or a bank draft, the demand draft, bank draft, can never be made payable on demand. Never. Payable to a bearer. ओके, फिर वो ऑन डिमांड होने दो या आफ्टर स्पेसिफाइड टाइम होने दो, कुछ भी होने दो. ओके, promissory note can never be made payable to a bearer, because we have only one promissory note which is payable to a bearer, that is a currency note. Whoever holds it is the bearer or is the owner. Okay, in case of currency note. And only a check can be made payable to a bearer on demand. In fact, check is always payable to a bearer on demand, जिसका भी नाम लिखा है. Okay, this payable to a bearer on demand. Parties to the check, the drawer, the drawee, and if in case it is being endorsed, okay, then you have an endorser, an endorsee, the payee, the holder, etc. Then we did the essentials and the distinguish between check and bill of exchange. Okay, a specimen of the check. A banker, you just have to read who is a banker and who is a customer. I've just given for your understanding. Okay, liability of a banker, I just did this, that they are always liable to keep a record, and when the banker may refuse the payment. So I have clubbed this. Okay, they have given it in two parts. They refuse to make the payment of the customer's check. These are the reasons. Okay, now this protection of a paying banker is nothing but it is only just read this once. Payment in due course. Okay, now what do you mean by this payment in due course? Payment in due course means any person liable to make payment under this negotiable instrument. Okay, under the negotiable instrument, say suppose I had to make a payment, must make the payment of the amount due thereunder in due course in order to obtain a valid discharge against the holder. Obviously, a payment in due course means a payment in accordance with the tenor. Whatever was the tenor, according to that only you make the payment in good faith without any negligence. Okay, so what? A payment will be a payment in due course if it is in accordance with the apparent tenor of the instrument. Okay, whatever time was maintained and as per the intention of the parties, payment is made. It is made in good faith without any negligence. It is made to the person in possession of the instrument who is entitled as a holder to receive it. Payment is made under circumstances which do not afford a reasonable ground to believe that the person he is not entitled to receive the payment. Okay, and payment is made in money and money only. That is known as a payment in due course. होता है ना, कभी कभी bill of exchange बना है 3 months का, but some parties they just come ahead in 1 month and make the payment. हो गया, payment made in the due course. Okay, while it was within the tenor as per the intention of the parties, there is no negligence. I made it to the person possessing that particular bill of exchange. Okay, then we have the collecting banker. Collecting banker is also only read. Okay, the one who collects the proceeds for the customer. Okay, what is an outdated check? One which is 3 months and more old. Okay, liability of an endorser, this all nothing, you don't have to do any of this. Crossing of the check, yes, this is a little important. Modes of crossing: general, special, and a not negotiable crossing. This they can ask you as a short note. Okay, so see this general crossing, this is general, this side, this is special. Okay, this is your notes. Okay, now maturity, coming to the maturity. Okay, this is also very simple, very easy to understand. Maturity of instrument, where an instrument is said to be mature. Okay, see, maturity of negotiable instrument. ठीक है, now checks में तो कोई problem है ही नहीं. Checks are payable on demand. Okay, so then here there is no issue only. You go ahead and you put it in the bank. They are payable on demand on the date. Okay, post dated checks तो accept ही नहीं करते हैं. Stale checks will not be accepted. 3 months and above हो गया date से, तो then they will not accept it. Check is payable on demand. It's as simple as that. But in case of bills of exchange and promissory note, which can be made payable after a specified date, no, can be made payable on a specified date. ठीक है, so here under section 21 you can write down this example if you want to. Okay, say a bill of exchange or a promissory note payable at sight. So these are the words they have used. Okay, at sight means it is payable on demand. At sight, once you see, you have to make the payment. Okay, at sight or at presentiment, these are the words. Okay, and bill of exchange or promissory note can be made payable on date, okay, which it falls on due date, on a date which it falls due. Okay, so it is also known as after date, or it is known as after sight. Okay, so these are certain terms, which they have used in that entire big paragraph. Bill of exchange can be made payable on sight, at presentment, or it can be made payable on a date which falls due, or it can be made payable after sight. So what does this mean? After sight means it is payable on a given specific date. It falls due on that date. Okay, after that date. And payable at sight means payable on demand. Finish. So here both, okay, both bill of exchange as well as promissory note, both these in negotiable instrument, they get a grace period of 3 days. Okay, now how does this work? For example, say a bill of exchange is dated, okay, the date is 31st of Jan 2001. Okay, it is payable, the date on bill of exchange is this date. It is payable at 1 month after the date. So after which date? Obviously this date. Okay, so therefore maturity will be the 3rd day after. It is 1 month, no? So 31st of Jan, 1 month means the whole month of February. Okay, so generally it is ideally payable on 28th of February, 1 month after the date. But the maturity of the instrument will come because it gets this 3 days grace period after 28th of Feb. So it will be 1st, 2nd and the 3rd. So it will be 3rd of March 2001. Okay, this will be the maturity date. Okay, say suppose the maturity date is a public holiday. Okay, it is a public holiday. Then I will take a day preceding to the public holiday, preceding day. Okay, then have to make a payment one day prior to that particular date which it is. So say suppose 3rd March was a public holiday. So now my payment date will become 2nd March. Okay, the maturity date. Alright, so this is about the maturity of the negotiable instrument. They have given this maturity along with the the example which I gave you all. Then we have a holder of the instrument, section 8, holder, and we have holder in due course, section 9. Okay. Capacity of parties, and this is all only read. Okay, liability of the drawer, drawee of the check. Okay, what are their liabilities? Okay. Now negotiation. This is another topic altogether. Negotiation, we saw what is negotiation. Okay, but negotiation and assignment, okay, they are two different things. Though they sound very similar, okay, though they are the nature, okay, of particular act is very same, but then also they are different. How? A negotiable instrument may be transferred by negotiation, or it can be transferred by assignment. Okay, now negotiation में क्या है? The transfer of the instrument, whether it is a note or bill of exchange, from one person to another, okay, in such a manner to convey the title to constitute the transferee to the holder thereof. Okay, so when I am giving a particular bill of exchange to someone else, I am endorsing it, so I am giving my title to that particular person. Okay, so when a negotiable instrument is transferred by negotiation, the rights of the transferee may arise higher than those of the transferor depending upon the circumstances. Okay, so the transferee may have higher rights than that of the transferor. But when the transfer is made by assignment, okay, the assignee has only those rights. The assignee has only those rights which the assigner had possessed. So if I am I am assigning it. Okay. Say what can I assign the best? I can assign my debtors to someone else. Okay, I have a creditor already. So I told my creditor that you take all my debtors because I have to make the payment to you. So from my debtors, if you collect, the payment is done. So when I am assigning, basically, okay, in assignment, it just does not happen by mere transfer or by mere handing over the instrument to one another. It requires a proper registered document. Okay, a registered document is needed in order to assign any rights to a given person. So if I want to assign my goodwill or I am assigning my debtors to somebody else, okay, to someone else, I have to make a registered document in which all the terms and conditions will be clear. The rights and liabilities of the parties will be limited. But when it comes to negotiation only of a particular negotiable instrument, I am transferring it by negotiation. In that case, only mere handover, okay, from one person to another is enough. Okay, so here negotiation and assignment are two different things. Okay, negotiation, there is an importance of delivery in negotiation. Negotiation में deliver करना पड़ता है. Bill of exchange अगर endorse कर रही हो तो I'll have to deliver the hard copy to the endorsee. Okay, check also I'll have to deliver it. Promissory note also I have to deliver it. Okay, negotiation by endorsement and delivery. Now, endorsement is important. What is endorsement? We have already seen, but we will go through it. Okay. There are certain types of endorsement. One is a blank endorsement or a general endorsement. Okay, now what do you mean by a blank endorsement? Where a person who is endorsing, means the endorser, okay, he just writes his signature on the back of the instrument, right? He does not write to whom he is endorsing it. He just endorses it, okay, and he just signs there. Okay, over here. He's just signed it. So, and the instrument so endorsed becomes payable to the bearer, even though originally it was payable to order. Thus, where a bill is payable to Mohan or order, now this Mohan, he endorses it, okay, and he writes on the back of the particular instrument only Mohan. That means he's already endorsed it. So now whoever will have that instrument, uske haath mein wo bearer, it will become a bearer instrument and it will be payable. Okay, the property in the bill can be passed by mere delivery as long as the endorsement continues to be blank. Okay, so you can keep on passing it on. Since already Mr. Mohan has signed, you can keep on passing it on from one creditor to another, and lastly जिसको payment देना है उसका नाम पे यहाँ पे लिख लो, हो गया payment. Okay, so that is what even I was telling you all in a check. We do not write the name of the person so that we avoid this all endorsements. Okay. Then we have a special or full endorsement. Means I am writing that okay, this check is being endorsed to Mr. A or his order, and now I am signing here as Mohan. Okay. Then restrictive endorsement, it prohibits or restricts the further negotiation. Means pay A only, pay A for my use. Okay, all these are restrictive in nature. Okay, now this Mr. A cannot further endorse it. Partial endorsement, which generally does not happen, it is just for theoretical purpose. You cannot have a partial endorsement. Means if the bill of exchange is of 1000 rupees, 500 I am endorsing, 500 I am keeping. ऐसा नहीं होता है. But then also they have given it to you. And conditional or qualified endorsement. Okay, conditional endorsement means there is some limits, okay, which have been put up, okay, by the person who is endorsing it. One condition he is put, that sans recourse endorsement. Means what? He makes it clear that he does not incur any liability of the endorser to the endorsee or subsequent holders, and they should not look it to him in case of dishonor. तो ऑलरेडी अगर मैंने सैन रिकोर्स एंडोर्समेंट किया है, इट मीन्स व्हाट, दैट टुमारो इफ एनीथिंग हैपेंस, डिसऑनर ऑफ दैट इंस्ट्रूमेंट टेक्स प्लेस, you cannot come back to me. Okay, pay A or order sans recourse. Okay, I have endorsed it, okay, in the name of Mr. A or his order, and I have written sans recourse. So tomorrow if Mr. A dishonors, do not come back to me. Okay, by making his liability depending upon happening of a specified event, there is a second condition, okay, which may never happen. Example, the holder of a bill may endorse it, pay A or order on his marrying B. In such case, the endorser will not be liable until A marries B. Okay, now one thing, see, when a bill of exchange or a promissory note or a check में तो ऐसा कुछ होता ही नहीं है, okay, फिर भी I'm just writing, whenever they are made, okay, it is an unconditional order or a promise to pay. There is no condition attached, okay, when they are made. But when they are endorsed, there can be such condition which is attached. So if you see here also restrictive, pay A for my use only, pay A only, it's a condition. So endorsement can have a condition, but not the making of a particular negotiable instrument. All right, clear so far? All right, okay. Now there are certain miscellaneous topics which are left, like we have some types of we have this negotiation back, then we have some other types of instrument, inchoate, stamped instrument, then we have about presentment for payment and acceptance, okay, then we have dishonor of check, okay, and the remedies, dishonor and remedies available for dishonor in case of check, okay, and then we have the hundis last. Okay, these are little they are more in detail, these concepts, So that now I will be covering it in the next class. Okay. So right now only checks you have to understand, check, and the other related, certain concepts which I have told you. So what is ever important, you are supposed to concentrate on that important things only. Okay, whatever is read, I have marked it as read. You're supposed to only read it because they do not ask any questions from that. Okay, that is only for your understanding for the further chapter. What is important in these questions distinguishes its essentials, okay, the parties involved, and the other holder in due course, the section wise, the short notes which I have told you. Okay, so whatever is marked important, concentrate on that only, and then we will discuss the, once I finish this entire chapter, then I will discuss the exam questions with you. Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
You all have any questions?